Oh, for goodness sake. Toll booths, they're just not fit for motorcycles, honestly. Not very easy to deal with when you've got all your kit on, especially when it's been wet as well. Anyway, welcome to CG Rides. You catch me today at the start of an awesome journey all the way down through France and into Spain. I'm riding my BMW R1250RT, and the reason why I'm stopped here is because my dad is behind me on his Honda CB 1100. We're going to be riding today down to a place called Saint-Gaultier, and we started from Caen at the ferry port this morning. Off we go. Now, as you can see, the weather is not being kind to us. It's a little bit damp. We got a good soaking yesterday. I was going to film the first day of the tour, and I just gave up on that idea. It would have been a dead loss. Let's make sure I'm going the right way. Yeah, it would have been a dead loss to try and film it yesterday because of the rain. As we were riding to Portsmouth, it was fog. I could barely see in front of the bike. It was horrible. And then the rain, we got wet, the bikes are filthy. Yeah, it's a bit sucky. And we got off the ferry this morning in Caen, and it was still pretty wet. It seems to be dried up as we're heading south, and the weather forecast actually looks reasonable for this afternoon. We're heading for a place called Saumur. Not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments. That will be our lunchtime stop, and it's a place I've been to before on my motorcycle, so I know it's quite picturesque. And we can ride along by the river there, which is exactly what we intend to do. So we've got about 3 hours of motorway drudgery this morning, and another 3 hours or so in the saddle this afternoon. Our trip is going to take us from Caen down through France. We're sort of going to cut across it diagonally, if you like, as we go down, and we're going to take in the Millau viaduct. I've always wanted to see Millau, and we're going to ride over it and then back under it, so should get plenty of footage of that. And there's some, what I think is going to be fairly stunning riding after Millau as well, so I'm looking forward to that. But that's a couple of days away yet. So it's currently a Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. So I think that's Sunday we'll be doing that. And on Monday we'll then be heading into Spain via Andorra. We're going to ride some of the Spanish Pyrenees. We'll dip back into France and then back into Spain, make our way across to the Cantabrian mountains and the Picos, and then we'll head to Bilbao and catch the ferry home from Bilbao, which is a 24, I think it's actually, it might be a bit more than that, 24-hour crossing anyway. It's quite a long job. Hopefully the Bay of Biscay will be nice and calm for us. Anyone who's been on a ferry through the Bay of Biscay will know that it can be a bit like a washing machine sometimes. And I haven't brought with me any seasickness tablets, so that was a dumb move. I keep thinking about all the things that I've forgotten. Anyway, I feel like I'm chatting away, but what you guys are looking at is really boring. So let me just quickly show you some of the ferry crossing. So this is just leaving the port in Portsmouth, and we go past the naval base, and you can see the new aircraft carrier, and I can't remember what that's called. Perhaps someone could remind me in the comments there. It looks pretty cool though. And I think Portsmouth has done a really nice job of lighting up all these buildings and the Spinnaker Tower, which did look really good in the mist, all lit up like that. So I spent just a very short time up on deck because the boat left the port at about 11 p.m. We knew they were going to be waking us up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so it wasn't like I was going to get a lot of sleep. As soon as we got onto the ferry, I went to my cabin and I pretty quickly realised I'd forgotten the charging cable for my phone, so I went back down to the garage, to the deck where the bike was, and I got the cable out of the top box, and as I was going to leave the garage, something was just niggling me, and I turned and looked back, and I realised what it was straight away. My bike wasn't strapped down. All of the other motorcycles had been strapped down, but my bike wasn't. So I had to go and get that sorted before I could go to bed. And they did sort it, of course. Brittany Ferries, I've always found them to be really good. Very friendly staff. They did get it sorted, not a problem. Bike's safe and sound. We were originally planning to take the boat to Spain and just ride the north of Spain in the mountains there and maybe dip over and do some of the Pyrenees. But the price of the boat has really gone up since we did it last, which was, what, 5 years ago. So I did some research and found out that we could go on the overnight ferry to France much cheaper, and actually with the money saved we could pay for the ride through France. I am looking forward to a longer ferry ride, provided that the sea is calm in the Bay of Biscay. We'll see how we go. And I think it's probably time for me to switch the camera off, get some miles under the wheels, and maybe we'll come back to you when there's something nicer to have a look at. Finding this motorway riding pretty tough. I was already tired before we started this morning, and I'm yawning away inside my helmet and struggling to stay awake. And my dad's just whizzed past me, so I'm hoping that he's done that because he wants to pull off at the next rest area, because I could do with a Red Bull or a coffee or something. Anyway, we've gone past Le Mans. We're not actually that far away from Saumur now, our lunchtime stop. A little rest and a coffee would be pretty good. Let's see if Dad's about to turn off. Yes, look at that. Let's get into the service station and get ourselves some refreshment. I will catch up with you again, probably, as we're getting closer to Saumur. Finally off the motorway, I hope. Yeah, we're very close now to, I think I'm going to say it's Saumur. I've probably got that wrong as well. I don't think it's Saumur though, I think it's Saumur. Right, good, let's deal with these tolls, this will be fun.
Says no.
Well, that was expensive. 17 euros for that motorway trip. It's like a whole tank of fuel. Something I really like about riding in France is all of the signs, the tourist signs that you get at the side of the highway, just showing you pictures of different things, gives you ideas on places to go and things to see. There's another one there, look. Tank Museum. So, if you've never ridden in France, if you're in the UK and watching this video and you've never ridden in France before, it's definitely something you should do. Don't feel intimidated by it, that's for certain. Most of the rules of the road are very similar actually to the UK, which makes it easy. So looking at my sat-nav, this road is going to take us across the river, and Saumur, that's how I'm going to say it from now on, is on both sides of the river, and there's a little sort of island in the middle as well. Quite interesting. On the other side of the river, from what I remember, the south side has more historical type stuff, but I'll be honest, my brain is quite muddled with lots of different French places, so I might be misremembering. So we're going over the Loire River now. Look at that. Wow, that's high. lovely chateau up there on the hill. It's amazing, very French. I'm going to get off this road and head for the centre of the town and see what we can find. Hopefully something to eat and drink. A place to rest, I have to say. My back is starting to ache a bit. Saint-Hilaire, I see a sign there. I'm pretty sure I've been there as well. How interesting. So it's like a horse training place there. Military. Perhaps it is a military place. It's got that look about it. And up in front of us, beautiful chateau up on the hill there. Oh, this is incredible. I don't remember ever seeing this. I must have been in a different part of the town. I don't know what to say about that kind of behaviour. I'm sure some of you guys love it. I'm not sure the town centre is the ultimate place to be popping wheelies, but there we go. I'm just stalled, obviously, and boring, and jealous, mainly jealous. Would you look at this beautiful old building? Yeah, where can we park? This is the question. Right here. So I've had a good break in Saumur. Had a nice croque monsieur with goat's cheese. Very pleasant. Sat in the square there and enjoyed the sunshine. And I have to say, it's really hot. I just had to take the inner out of my jacket, the fleece lining. I've just got so much stuff now crammed into my panniers and top box. There's no room for anything. But I know I'm going to need all of these things because when we go across the mountains, it's going to be cold again and we'll need to layer up. But I probably have done the usual thing of packing too much. Never mind. We also took advantage of the auto lavage, jet wash, which there seem to be lots of those around in France. Does a reasonable job of cleaning up the bike, so I feel a bit happier now. Seen the sunshine, feeling warm, and the bike's clean. And this is where the ride really starts for me. So we're going to follow this route by the Loire River. It's a bit of a mouthful for us Brits to say. I'm expecting this to be quite nice scenery, so I'm probably just going to let the camera roll for a bit and I'll pick out some highlights and maybe play some music so you can enjoy this ride as well. Coming through all of these little villages just feels like France. Something I've noticed in my various trips to France over the years is that it's becoming more and more like the UK, where you get huge retail parks and McDonald's and all the usual suspects, and all the American brands, the chains, they're all seeming to come over here, and the kids love it. That doesn't mean that you can't find traditional French culture. I think it's just getting lost a little bit with the modern world. France is like everywhere else. People want fast food, they want retail parks where they can go and do their shopping, and yeah, it'd be really sad if France ends up like the UK. I don't know if you can see this, but in the cliffs over there you've got houses. I think they call that troglodyte. Is that right? Troglodyte homes? Cave dwellings? That is a thing in France. I recall now a few years ago going to visit some. Can't remember where that was, so yet another piece of useful information that I've just delivered. High quality content this. Nonetheless, if you're in France somewhere, you may be able to view cave dwellings. I think I could see some more up there on the right. I imagine with the wide angle lens on the GoPro you won't really be able to see. But got this amazing frontage of a house there which just backs onto the cliffs. Interesting. I'll shut up again. Looks like a fantastic river to get a boat on. Last year I bought this inflatable canoe. It's made out of the same stuff that paddleboards are made out of, inflatable paddleboards, so drop stitch. Inflatable canoe sounds rubbish, doesn't it? But actually when you blow it up it's rock solid. It's a two-seater, pretty cool, you know. It makes it easy to carry around. You don't have to have a huge roof rack or anything on your car. It's quite a large bag, but I've got a little camper van that we take that in, and the wife and I like to go canoeing. Again, what am I talking about? I'm going to shut up. This is a beautiful village to go through. Enjoy this scenery, folks. These are the sort of roads I've been really looking forward to on this trip. I know the mountains are going to be spectacular, but just going through the forest and the countryside, there's so much of it. France is a vast country, compared to the UK, of course. is it 5 times the land mass with about the same population? Something like that. There's a lot of space here. And my sat-nav is having a bit of a hissy fit because what I've done is programmed in the address of our accommodation this evening. And of course it's trying to take me on the fastest possible route, but I don't want to do that because I've got a route planned out, written down in front of me. The idea with this is that if my route doesn't work out for any reason at all, I can just start following the sat-nav and I'll always get to where I need to be. And it's always showing me an arrival time. So I find that really useful when I'm touring because I don't want to completely rely on the sat-nav in most cases, but it's nice to have it as a backup there. And it helps you to time your journey as well. You know, if you can stop, and if you see something nice, you know, you can stop and take in a view for a few minutes, that kind of thing, because you always know what time you're going to be at the place you need to be at. I've picked out this road that just follows the river, and I don't know what I was expecting, but it is quite nice. It's a little bit slow because we're constantly going through these little villages. Well, we've left the river far behind now, and we've had a couple of nice roads to ride on. Unfortunately, my GoPro batteries died, so you didn't get to come along for that bit. Whilst I'm talking about cameras, my setup for this trip, I've got my usual GoPro Hero 10 on my helmet here, which is in a medium mod case, and I've got a microphone wired into my helmet that's then plugged into the camera, so that gets us the audio. I've got a second Hero 10 Black pointed back at me, and I've got a remote control down here on my handlebar, and what that does is connects to both cameras. I press one button and it starts recording, I press it again and it stops recording. Hopefully that's going to make life very easy for me, and I'm hoping everything works. I'll have lots of footage to look through later. And I've also brought with me my Insta360 camera with a 4K lens on it, and also the 360 attachment, so I can do 360 degree video. I don't know how much of that I'm going to do because it takes forever to edit, so maybe if we get somewhere really picturesque I might stick that on as well. I have got my drone with me. I don't know how much drone flying I'm going to be able to do because we're always pressed for time and we've got to get to somewhere, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have to set up the drone and fly it safely, but if I can, I'll get you some footage. And the rest of the footage I'm capturing on my iPhone, which is a 12 Pro Max. So for the camera nerds out there, that's what I'm using for this particular trip. If you're particularly interested in getting a camera set up, particularly with a microphone in your helmet, I have done a review of this helmet where I showed how I installed my kit to get a decent result. You do still have to play with the audio a little bit when you're editing, but it's pretty good actually from this setup. So we'll leave it there for part 1. Hopefully you can join me again in part 2, and please subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. I'm very grateful for all of your support. See you again next time CG Rides.